What's up, guys? So, in your 20s, you're going to be making one of the biggest decisions of your life when you move into a new city or a new place for job, for work, or for education, or whatever the purpose is. Should you stay in a PG or should you stay in a rented flat? And trust me, this decision may seem easy and a lot of people just take it like within seconds, but I feel this decision is going to dictate the rest of your life in terms of your finance, your dating, your relationships, your lifestyle, and how people see at you and bunch of other things. And I have stayed in Bangalore for close to 3.5-4 years, and I have lived in multiple PGs, the bad ones, like the horrible ones, in which like the food is pathetic, the dal feels like some sort of a soup, and the process of sedimentation is happening in the dal, wherein the dal is in the bottom and the water is in up. And I've stayed in like worst of the worst PGs, the ones which stink, the ones with 3 sharing, 4 sharing just to save money. And I've stayed in good PGs as well, the ones which are highly priced, have good gym and all the facilities, the food is good, the management is good, but it comes at a cost. And I have even stayed in multiple flats, like 2 BHKs with local people, with friends, so I have idea as to what I'm talking. And by the way, I've even stayed alone, like by myself in a 1-room kitchen. So I have pretty much the idea as to what I am going to be sharing in this video, and I think you have to listen to me and I could help you make this decision better. And this is very important because money wise and other things wise it's going to matter a lot. So first things first, before starting this video or before me giving you any tip about anything, if you have a girlfriend or if you have someone who keeps visiting you frequently, don't think much, just get into a flat, because PG people are extremely not welcoming of guests, and every time your friend or your girlfriend or boyfriend comes over, they're going to create a big scene, why you're bringing them, this is the 3rd time, it's been more than 1 hour, this person is there. And every time you fight with the PG people, it sort of is, embarrassing for yourself, you lose self-respect for your own self, it's like people are watching, and I don't want you or any of you guys to get into that situation. So I feel if you have a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, any friend who keeps visiting you, just don't think much, get into a flat. Anyways, let's get into the video. So first things first, about PG. The best thing about PG is not the money, okay? I know a lot of people will talk about money and tell you that PG is so low on the money, there's no deposit and all that. We'll get into that later. But the best thing about PG is no responsibility. Now think of it this way, when you get into a flat and if something is not working, let's say the light is not working or the fan is not working and it's like peak winter and you have to take a shower and the geyser is not working, you are on your own. It's your responsibility now to call a plumber, call the electrician and get it fixed. While in PG, it's not the case. If you're living in a PG, you have the right to tell the PG people that, get this fixed. You can sit on their head. You can just create a big scene. So I feel that reason, that sort of responsibility is way more on the flat. While in PG, you don't even have to cook food. There will be food given to you. While in flat, you have to manage the cleaning. You have to get a cleaning lady. You have to probably, not lady, could be a guy also, okay? And I'm not like sexist that way. But you have to get someone to clean. You have to get someone to cook, you have to manage all these things, while in PG you just will sort of get it all on your own. So that is the biggest advantage of a PG over flat. The second thing about PG is, we're gonna get into it, everyone's talking about it, it is the deposit thing. So PGs don't have much deposit, some PGs don't have deposit at all, some PGs have deposit but it's like barely 2k, 3k, and out of which they give 1k back, they just cut some maintenance charge. So you don't have any liability, right, if you're staying in a PG. You can just move out anytime if you have any argument with someone, or your job is very flexible, you don't know in 6 months you're gonna stay in this city or not. You can just opt in for a PG, leave anytime, go anytime. It's like no liability at all. While in flat, it is a liability. Let's say you staying in a flat, you have a 11th month, contract with your landlord. So then you're stuck. If you have a fight with your landlord, the landlord is probably going to deduct money, from your deposit. And since you have paid the money for like a big major chunk of deposit, which is usually around 40,000, 50,000, 80,000 to a lakh, then you're stuck, like you can't do much because money is involved. You can't freely move anywhere. So liability wise, again, PG is much better than flat because you don't have liability. You can just move in any time. There's no much in money involved. There's only 2-3k of a deposit, and even if they don't give you that money back, it's just 2-3k. You won't think much deep in it. as compared to a flat which is 80 or 1 lakh. And as per what I know, like 81 lakh is a very big amount, at least for me at this point. Think about it, like in Kaun Banega Karodpati, the first question is usually for 80,000 or 1 lakh. So the amount is pretty big. It's not a small amount. You can get a new iPhone in that amount. Anyways, so after listening to these points, I'm telling you, you may be thinking I'm just siding towards PG, but you can look around and I'm in a flat, so you may be thinking what a hypocrite I am. But no, I'm going to tell you about flat as well. Good things about flat is, first and the major very big good thing is it feels like home. Okay, so what I mean by this is that the flat is yours. When you own a PG, you know it's not yours. You are not doing anything. You're just literally coming from work, putting your ass on the bed, and next day you're off to work. While in flat, it is not like that. In flat, it sort of feels like home. Since you take responsibility of the thing, if something is not working, it is your responsibility to get it fixed. You feel like home. And another thing you'll feel like home is that you can bring in guests. While in PG, you can't do that for long. So if you have a girlfriend, or if you like coming for your, if you like your friends coming over, if you ask me, I am very emotional when it comes to chai. I have this sort of thing that I want all my friends or colleagues to come over at my place, and I'll make chai for them, and we all will have chai and roast each other and just talk and laugh. All these things matter to me a lot. In PG, you can't do that. So what I meant to say is that a flat sort of feels like home. Another advantage of a flat is that you get to be a lot more creative in a flat. So by this, what I mean is that, nothing dirty, by the way. What I mean is that, you can stick in few posters on the walls, and you can get in fake plants, you can choose what sort of sofa you want to buy, or, get, just stuff for your flat which will make it feel more homely. You can, because compared to PG does not have much space. So if you're living in a PG, ideally you will have literally a studio room, which will just fit in your cupboard and your bed, and there won't be much space to even walk. While in a flat, you will have a little bit of your space, so you can, make it homely. You can put in a carpet and, bring in your interior designer, make it look like your dream home. So those are the advantages of flat. Now I'm going to be saying few bonus things which I discover, and no one is talking on this on the internet, so you're the first ones who will be listening to this. First thing about PG you should know is that the sort of impression of a PG is sort of a low. I don't want to call out the people who stay in PG. Usually, what sort of crowd stays in a PG? It's usually the people, let's say the delivery boys from Swiggy, Zomato, or people working in restaurants or petrol pumps or receptionists, all those sort of crowds, or people who are new with job, who have a base salary of 30-40,000, newly starting their career professionally. All these sort of people live in a PG, so cost wise it's pretty low. But it comes at a cost, because the cost wise is pretty low, the crowd is not that great. People sort of look down upon PG, and I'll tell you why I'm telling you this, because I remember I once moved into a new company. I won't be taking name of the company, but the colleagues asked me, where do you stay? And I told them I stay at a PG at this place, and the look they gave me was like, PG? Stay in a PG? It's so the sort of impression of a PG is very, very low. So if these things matter to you, if you're okay with driving a Maruti Suzuki for the rest of your life, then PG is for you. But if you're someone who wants the impression of BMW or Mercedes, then probably the PG is not for you. The impression is pretty low. People are going to judge you for staying in a PG, and probably going to think that you're not responsible or not man enough. You can't be taking care of your own things. Anyways, that's one big thing I noticed. Another thing which I'm going to tell you, which is no one talking about on the internet, is that it's a tip, okay? Take it from me. Never move in a flat with locals. Specifically locals who stay within 50 to 70 kilometer or even 100 or 200 kilometer radius from your flat. Because I'm telling this because I made a big mistake. I moved in a flat with locals, but since they were locals, one big thing they would do is that they would not agree to spend on shit. I remember, when I moved into a house, I had big expectations. I was we'll get someone to clean the house, like a maid, or we'll get some cooking person, cook, and we'll buy a sofa. because I wanted to treat it like a home, since I stay in Mumbai, my home is much more far away. While they were not willing to spend money on anything. They didn't want you to spend on cleaning lady, they didn't want you to spend on sofa, furniture. I remember once we had a conversation and one of them jokingly said that, why are we buying washing machine? Just give us your clothes, we'll do the laundry and give it to you. But obviously I can't be dependent on them for laundry, right? It has to feel like home, like you have things. So local people typically also go home on weekends. So like both my roommates used to go home on weekends, so they were never here, and I would be like lonely here by myself alone in such a big flat. And trust me, the bigger the house is, the more lonelier you feel. And another thing about local people is that they sort of just create mess of the house and they go home. Now I'm not saying that it's with all people, but what I'm trying to say is that since they don't treat it as home, they just treat it as just some place you have to stay like for 2 days and then you go to their home, which is like 50-80 kilometers away. So they don't treat it like home. They create mess and they just sort of go home. They don't do the dishes and they go home, and you will be stuck with all the mess by yourself, which is not a great feeling. I remember I had made that mistake thinking that I will be moving in with locals, so I think I will be having the edge over other people. If anything goes wrong, like some fight or something, I have local peoples with me who have relatives and, connections all around. So it will be a good thing, but it was not. So that thing was a very big turning factor for me, which I realize now, don't make that mistake. Another thing which I'm going to be telling you is that if you move into a flat, you're going to feel very, very, very lonely. Okay. So I'll tell you this, when I used to stay in a PG, I remember it was a co-living PG by the way, and we had a lot of girls, a lot of boys, and we sort of made a group in that PG, and every night after I used to come from work, we used to play cards, Uno, sometimes Damsharaz, sometimes we would go on walks late night and get ice cream. So it was like fun, and every day I would look up to coming up from work and sort of hang out with these guys. But when I moved into a flat, all of that was gone. And in flat, it's like, you never go down, the delivery guy will come to your doorstep, get your parcel, and sort of, you have water supply, you eat at your own house. So you sort of don't have much social interaction with people around, right? And if your neighbors are bachelors, they are also most likely going to just stay in their room, put in their music and not come out. So social wise, you won't make friends in a flat. Now I'm someone, I can stay alone for 2-3 days, but more than that I'll go crazy, man. I need to talk to people because it feels very lonely to me. So that's one very big factor to consider. And in PG you sort of make friends very easily. Even if you're the most introverted person in the world, I bet you will make friends in PG, because in PG, the amount of times you have to get down to, meet people is endless. I remember when I was in PG, there used to be food which they used to serve in the dining area, so you have to go down and, you eat food with all these people. So if someone is sitting next to you, you have a conversation with them. Where do you work? Where are you from? And you sort of connect with them. It's that easy. Sometimes I remember, let's say in the PG, the lift is not working, or let's say the washing machine is not working, and all you guys can team up and, sort of sit on those receptionist's head or the PG people's head, So that way also you make friends. So in PG, there are endless ways to make friends. You meet people in lift, there's even the most introvert, awkward person in PG can make friends, while in flat that is not the case. So yeah, I'm hungry now. I think I'll go McDonald's and eat something, because I was staying with local people and they didn't agree for a cook. So I have to eat unhealthy now and I've gained weight. But yeah, do consider these tips. No one talks about these, and I feel like this video didn't have a script. It was just heart to heart conversation. So I hope you love it. See you next time.